You have been poisoned by a modern lie, a sweet poison that tastes like relief and connection. It is the lie that vulnerability is strength, that you must be an open book and wear your heart on your sleeve because authenticity attracts trust. They are wrong, because in the cold, geometric reality of power dynamics, information is not connection, information is ammunition, and you are handing the gun to the people who will one day pull the trigger. Niccolò Machiavelli, the man who mapped the darkest corners of the human psyche, understood that the moment you reveal the architecture of your mind, your fears, and your plans, you cease to be a player and you become a piece on the board. You become predictable, and in the game of power, predictability is death. You think you are bonding, but they are gathering data and looking for the cracks in your armor. Look at your own life and ask yourself how many times a secret you whispered in a moment of closeness has been weaponized against you in a moment of conflict. Today, we are going to close the gates and explore the specific pieces of information you must never, under any circumstances, share with anyone. The human mind is wired to respect what it cannot fully comprehend, and when you explain yourself, you diminish yourself. When you detail your life, you become mundane and common things are treated with indifference. You must stop viewing conversation as a confessional and view it as a game of chess where every sentence is a move. The first and perhaps the most critical lock you must put on your mind concerns your ethical red lines, the ceiling of your cruelty. You meet someone new and you want them to know you are a good person, so you tell them what you would never do, claiming you could never lie or cut off your family. You think you are signaling virtue, but you are actually drawing a map of your limitations. When you tell a manipulator exactly where your moral line is, you tell them exactly how far they can push you before you break, showing them the wall they can back you against. Machiavelli argued that a prince must be capable of both great virtue and great cruelty depending on the necessity of the moment. Keep your ethics to yourself, act with honor, but never tell them the extent of that honor, letting them wonder if you are capable of biting back. A dog that barks is understood, but a dog that stands still watching with no sound is feared because you don't know if he will lick your hand or tear out your throat. The second thing you must conceal is the sweat behind the magic, which is your effort. We live in a culture that loves to show the work, posting the late nights and the grind, wanting sympathy for our labor. However, the Renaissance courtier Baldassare Castiglione spoke of sprezzatura, the art of making the difficult look easy. When you reveal how hard you are working or struggling to achieve a result, you devalue the result and make it look like you barely pulled it off. If you tell your boss you stayed up all night finishing a report, you think you are showing dedication, but what he hears is that you are inefficient. Machiavelli and the great seducers of history knew that power must look natural, like a gift from the gods and not a product of sweat. Never share the struggle, the doubts you had at 3 a.m., or the near misses where everything almost fell apart. Present the finished product, present the victory, and when they ask how you did it, smile and say it just came together. Third, never reveal your plan B, your exit strategy.
When we are anxious, we like to talk about our backup plans to comfort ourselves, but when you share your plan B with the world, you kill their belief in your plan A.
Sun Tzu spoke of the death ground, explaining that if you want soldiers to fight with the fury of demons, you put them in a position where there is no escape. If your enemies know your exit strategy, they can cut it off and target your escape route. You must appear fully committed, looking like someone who has no choice but to win, because this conviction is contagious and makes people rally around you. Keep your parachute hidden under your jacket, and if you have to pull the ripcord, do it, but don't walk around showing everyone the handle. Fourth, you must protect the exact extent of your intelligence and cultivate information asymmetry. The insecure man wants everyone to know he knows the answer, displaying his intelligence like a peacock displays feathers, but this gives away his advantage and shows the limits of his data. The Machiavellian strategy is to play the fool, appearing slightly less intelligent and less observant than you actually are. When people think you don't know something, they get careless, speak freely around you, and reveal their schemes, thinking you are too slow to understand them. While they are acting out their play, you are sitting in the audience taking notes. If you discover a betrayal, do not rush to confront them with the evidence. Act as if everything is normal and let them continue to lie so you have the power to steer them. Hoard your knowledge and conceal the extent of your intelligence so you become a human lie detector, operating with a full deck of cards while they think you are only holding a pair of twos. Fifth, keep your financial vulnerability or your abundance an absolute secret. Money is a signaling mechanism for dominance, and knowing someone's true financial position is the ultimate leverage.
If you reveal you are struggling, you attract predators who will lowball you and offer terrible deals because they know you are desperate.
Conversely, if you reveal you are wealthy, you attract parasites, scammers, and trigger envy, which is the most destructive emotion in the human arsenal. Machiavelli advises a strategic fog around your resources. Appear comfortable but not desperate, and not flashy. True power is silent, and the loudest man in the room is usually the one with the most debt. By keeping your finances a black box, you protect yourself from parasites and predators, keeping your bank account holstered until you need to use it. Sixth, you must guard your deepest resentments and your list of enemies. There is a temptation to bond over mutual hatred and gossip about the people who hurt us, but when you do this, you are showing your wounds and telling people exactly how to hurt you.
A man who talks about his enemies is looking backward, and when you dwell on old resentments, you look weak and unstable.
Machiavelli teaches that you should either treat men well or crush them completely, but never complain about them, as complaining is the language of the victim. When someone asks about your enemy, say that you wish them well and move on, which shows a terrifying level of detachment. Silence regarding your enemies makes you appear invincible, implying that they didn't damage you enough to even be worth a mention. Finally, never share your grand design, your next big move. The dopamine hit of telling someone your goal is addictive. Your brain releases the reward chemicals associated with achieving the plan, so you get the satisfaction without the work in your motivation tanks. Strategically, when you announce your next move, you allow the world to block it, whether it's a rival applying for the same promotion or a family member reminding you of your past failures. The grand design is a fragile seed that dies if you dig it up every day to show people it's growing. It needs the dark in the soil. Move in silence, do not announce the start, announce the finish, and understand the terrifying power in the sudden reveal. The master does not speak of what he will do, he speaks only of what he has done. When you stop sharing these 7 things, you sever the umbilical cord to society's validation, and a psychological phenomenon called the accumulation of presence occurs. Silence creates pressure, and when you don't tell people your plans, the energy of that plan stays inside you, vibrating and driving you to work. You become a black hole, pulling attention without asking for it, becoming a low-entropy entity in a high-noise environment. There is a sacredness to the private, and when you keep a secret, you honor yourself. You can continue to be an open book, readable, predictable, and disposable, or you can become a tome written in a cipher that only you possess the key to. The path of the outlier is the path of the shadow. It is lonely and cold, but nobody can ruin a plan they don't know, and nobody can steal a treasure they can't find. Be the ghost, be the void, and be the power that no one sees coming until it is too late to stop it. Welcome to Sovereign Mind. Subscribe if you are ready to step into the architect level. See you in the shadows.